That's why he's able to sell tickets at $1,000, because he pours so much into the community. He gives so much of himself.
Well, that was going to be my question then. Who is buying $1,000 tickets? Just because that's a hell of a price point. And then for him to sell,
I think it's mostly people flying in.
What's going down, music entrepreneurs? Welcome back to the podcast where we live it so we give it. We're all here. I don't know where everyone is other than where Dame is. And sometimes I know where I'm at. Today, I'm not so sure. Welcome to another episode. We appreciate you tuning back in. And as always, if you don't have your music out, if you have music sitting on your hard drive, like most of us do, myself included, and you want to get it out, but you don't want to necessarily spend extra money on it, go to tulost.com, use the code MEC. You get 3 free months of unlimited music distribution. You get your music on all your platforms. You can get a lot of stuff. 1 week, you can get a lot of music uploaded. We're talking about 3 months. So go to tulost.com, use the code MEC, and make that happen. How are you feeling, Erinn? How are you feeling, Dame?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I'm good right now. I was just telling you guys, I woke up at 3 this morning. So I'm sure I'll feel it later on in the day. But I already got my workout in. I'm feeling good. We got some great topics queued up. I think this is going to be a great episode. But let's share our wins from the week. Erinn, what you got for us?
My win is that I'm still here. I've had a lot of conversations with people. I won't say a lot. I've had a couple conversations in the last 48 hours with people who are a part of some of the more consistent money that I make. And it seems like things are uncertain. So I think my win is that I'm not tripping, because I'm like, that's interesting. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think my win is that I'm not tripping. I don't know. I'm just not in a place anymore where I'm like eating what I kill every day. I think that the work that I've put in has generated and continues to generate the flow for me. And so like, I have to just not be in that point of desperation. I also have to be aware that when it doesn't look like it's working out, it is working out. So I can't react to that. It's just part of the ebb and flow. But, yeah, I haven't thought about money a lot in a while. Like, obviously, I want to make more, but I have tried to deprioritize that in my life over the last year. And so now it's like, oh, I want to make more money, but I'm also looking at, will I have the same type of income in 3 or 4 months? And if not, what will I do? So, I don't know. My win is that I'm staying steady today.
Hey, that's the win sometimes. It's a huge win. Payne, what you got for us this week?
Oh, man. I played a show in the rain and my equipment didn't explode. That was a win. I mean, sometimes I feel like sometimes the wins are just surviving unfavorable and potentially adverse circumstances for a particular goal. Sometimes the win is just surviving adverse conditions and unfavorable situations and circumstances for a particular goal. And my goal was to play that damn show. So, and it was positive. I got good feedback.
There it is. There's a lot going on right now, so I feel like a win is just kind of keeping steady. But to share something different, I tried to record a separate show to put on the Music Entrepreneur Club last week. I didn't like how it came out. I think I'm going to record like smaller segments and respond to videos that I disagree with. There's a video right now that I'm going to start with because it's on Roland Martin's channel. Isaac Hayes Jr., I believe, is talking about Tubi and fan base, and there's just a lot of misinformation that he's given out in that video. So I think that'll be a good one to start with. So I'm going to address that.
I know you don't rock with Isaac Hayes Jr., and I have had my own things because I feel like there's been a lot of times that I'm like, he's not a credible source. His math is very off. But I heard an interview with him last weekend with also the founder of One Music Fest. And I was like, I don't think he's all the way off. I think that he's made grandiose statements before, and I think he's said some off base stuff, which is typically like what a colorful leader will do. And you have to sell the dream. But the more he was talking, the more I was like, I actually really rock with bro. Like, I don't think he's completely missed it. And then to be here for so long, to have 1 million active monthly users on his platform verifiably, I'm actually like a little bit more inclined to not only respect what he's got going on, but I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna be watching fan base for a minute.
And I don't plan on completely shitting on him. Like there definitely are a lot of things that he says that I agree with, for sure. But then I would probably say it's like 60-40. Like 60 I agree, be like 40 I'm not rocking with. And just the comments that he had about Tubi, I know that's not one of our topics today. We're just flat out wrong. Like, we have content on Tubi. We're making money on Tubi. We're now making more money on Tubi than we are on YouTube. And that's why we're going to lean more heavily into Tubi.
That's fire. Congrats.
Yeah, still be on YouTube. But just to give you an example, he said he was saying on Roland Martin's show that, in order to get on Tubi, it used to be like a project used to have a $50,000 budget, right? And Tubi's owned by Fox, and a lot of platforms, most platforms, have taken advantage of Black creators, right? They use Black content to get users onto the platform. So I agree with that. And Tubi might be running the same play. However, there are a lot of Black creators that are winning on the platform, making a lot of money. And at least for us, there was no budget requirement. Like, nobody even asked us what the budget was for the stuff that we create. He basically said that it used to be $50,000 a budget that your project used to have in order to get on Tubi. Now it's $500,000. And it's like, bro, where did you get that from? Like, maybe somebody told him that, but like, Tubi didn't even offer us 500,000 and they want to partner with us. So why are they offering us less than what's required to get put on their platform? Anyway, I'm going to go into more detail when I've tried to reach out we went back and forth a few times on Twitter, and then he stopped responding. I don't think he knows like how much experience I have working with Chris. I was trying to help him like in his early days. Like, I was just trying to give him some, and he continues to make the same mistakes. But anyway, we got some dope topics today. I think we're starting off with Erinn's topic. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I want to talk about how LaRussell made over $100,000 on his last show. If I'm not mistaken, it's it's 100 tickets, right? Less than 100 tickets. But basically, LaRussell.
Yeah, sorry, it says $151,000 tickets, and he did it within 24 hours. So he made a gross 150,000, netted somewhere around 130 some odd thousand. I can pull up the Instagram.
But then he launched a matinee show, and I think that sold out as well. That I think had less tickets. So he made between $200,000 and $300,000, I believe.
Yeah, the matinee show, that's what I'm looking at right now. That's why I was like, what is this 82,000? That's what I pulled up. The matinee show, he sold 97 tickets and made $82,744. Oh, he said, I have 3 tickets left. And that was within 24 hours. So he was selling, another 100 tickets. So extremely impressive. I wonder why he ended up doing a few more, like, because 156 tickets, because originally he said it was just 100. So he must have been like, oh, these are selling fast, let me add some more, which is super astonishing. So yeah, just under 260 tickets, close to over $200,000 on his own ticketing platform. That's another thing. So it's like, yeah, the fees get taken out to the platform, but he owns the platform. So it's just going back into part of a pot. Obviously, he doesn't get everything, but part of a pot that he owns, which I think is fascinating. And so I want to bring up, and I feel like it's going to further flow into your topic, Dame. I think LaRussell is a fascinating study. Shout out to him as an artist. I think LaRussell is just a really talented tech founder who happens to enjoy making music, because this is another example of him just winning, right? Like, he owns his own ticketing platform. He owns his own venue. He owns his own touring company. And granted, people are like, oh yeah, this is just for his stuff. Yes, the touring company is just for his stuff right now. The ticketing platform is being used at mass scale. I remember when it was in beta, I was in LA for Grammy week, and this was probably like 3 years ago. And like several of the events that I went to were on the platform. So it's like this has been at mass scale being in use there. I see people using it in Atlanta. Haven't seen it in Nashville or Austin yet, but in two cities that I preview often is LA and Atlanta. I'm seeing the platform being used often. So he has his own ticketing platform. He has his own venue, and I think his venue model he's trying to spread, if I'm not mistaken, kind of looking at what he's doing. He's a speaker. He's a founder. I think that if more artists were to look at themselves as a dynamic creator, or a founder again, instead of just a rapper or a singer, I think there would be a lot more fruit to come from you. Because I think if he was just still stuck in, I want to be the greatest rapper, I want to be the biggest rapper in the world, I want to play Coachella and be on the biggest stages, I think he would get far, because he has an unquenchable zeal for what he's doing, and he has done a lot to make his platform greater and bigger. But to me, the bigger things that he's done, the more strides that he's created, is to create something that's sustainable, not only for him, but profitable and sustainable outside of him as an artist, which to me is what makes him a really great tech founder. It's not built just to serve him. It's built to serve a wider audience, and therefore he won't be relegated to rap over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think what LaRusell has built is super impressive. It's definitely a lot of success is timing, right? And I think LaRusell came around at a time when his voice was really needed, right? His music is very playful. It's very fun. It's for young people. It's for old people. And people are more impressed with just the things he says, and the energy he brings, because it's so much different than kind of what's been propped up in hip hop over the past, 10 or 15, 20, I don't know, however many years. So I think, what they've built is amazing, but I think timing plays a huge role in his success, and they've just been able to kind of keep the momentum going. It seems like he just has energy, and that's the kind of energy you need to have to continue to build on small wins. I love the way that he gives back to the community. I think that's why the community pours so much into him. I think I saw a video this morning where he might have been at an ice cream shop, and he bought out the ice cream shop. All the ice cream was free until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he does that from time to time. So I think that's why he's able to sell tickets at $1,000, because he pours so much into the community. He gives so much of himself. He's super transparent with how he's building. And again, it's what kind of hip hop needs right now. We need that counterbalance from, the other stuff that gets propped up that you hear on the radio that may be a little bit or a lot more successful from a music perspective. So yeah, I was not surprised that he was able to sell, those tickets relatively quickly.
Well, that was going to be my question then. Who is buying $1,000 tickets? Just because that's a hell of a price point. And then for him to sell,
I think it's mostly people flying in. That's the other impressive thing. It's like people are flying in so it's not just $1,000.
It's like a Bad Bunny residency, but at his own house.
And I think he's amping it up. I think he's making it different which is why he's only doing 100 people. I think there's different things that you get. Like, I don't know if it's like a merch pack. I just think the experience is going to be more dynamic. I think they have food because, back when he used to do it, they would have food for everybody who came to the backyard. And then I think they were selling food, but I think they're going to go back to kind of like catered to the audience type of experience. The reason that I really admire him is the way that he's gathering data on his audience. That's something that I'm working really, really hard to do with what I'm doing in Austin, to make my efforts and my time super worthwhile out there. data is the name of the game. If everybody's taking it on our community, it might as well be us taking it and monetizing it and utilizing it properly instead of against us. And so I think that's what he's doing. He's making a really good play. And I also think he's building infrastructure. I think the very cool thing, not to pit them against each other, but if we're looking at maybe a Chance the Rapper who was like the independent GOAT of a decade ago. And I think it's super cool to see him emerge with his new project. And then you're looking at LaRussell as like the independent GOAT of today. I think Chance was really building an infrastructure and a frame. I think Chance was building a framework. He's like, you can do it. This is how I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing it. Whereas LaRussell is building an infrastructure, right? He has a framework for himself, but there's again, things that extend beyond him that other artists can take, utilize, like offer-based tickets, offer-based merch. I know he's gotten away from that and has moved into like the price is the price, which I think has been a natural progression. And I think he's talked to his audience about why he's moved to that and different things like that. He does still offer some offer-based things, but I think it's just very intelligent. Again, I feel like Chance the Rapper represented the post-blog era, independent rapper. Like, I'm gonna do my own thing and I'm gonna use this social media to really show y'all what I'm doing. And then LaRussell has ushered in like the tech founder rapper era. I think there have been other people who have dabbled in it and maybe didn't have the team and the infrastructure around them and maybe even the culture, like LaRussell's in the Bay. So it's like he's getting that kind of like injection from Silicon Valley. He's getting these people. That's why I think a lot of his fan base too is coming from a lot of these even tech founders really interested in what he's doing. That's how he's able to be partnered on an app. That's how he's able to build a ticketing platform. The culture of where he's at is lending to his understanding and his access to these knowledgeable people, access to these resources. And I think because he's doing it right and leveraging his relationships, he's doing the hip hop thing. He's got the Wiz Khalifas and the Cali rappers, but he's also doing the tech founder thing. And I think it's super impressive. I think it's really cool to see where it's going. I think I'm just really excited to see what he does with it. It doesn't seem like he's going to slow down. I didn't know at one point if he was just gonna cause like everybody has that moment where they're ego tripping and we've talked about it. I respect anybody who's built anything and just wants to talk their shit. Like, I think that that's necessary. As somebody who's an advocate for myself talking my shit, I just didn't know if he was going to stall out at one point with just making a whole bunch of music, like a ton of music, but he's producing music at a very high level and is also producing tech and commerce at a high level. And I just think it's really cool to see. I think people should be looking deeper and not just looking at his cosigns right now and seeing what he's building. I think artists can learn a lot from LaRussell right now.
Yeah, and Pan, I don't know if you have anything else to add. The one thing that I would just like to highlight is, this doesn't happen overnight. Like, this takes a while to build, and you have to pour into a community in order for it to support you back. So hopefully people are looking at this and would like to replicate it, but you have to acknowledge like all the hard work that went into to building this. I mean, he's posted probably 5 times a day for the past however many years. And, the artists looking at him are probably posted 1 time in the past 2 months.
And it's not just posting. He got to create the content to post. He's walking down the street. He's doing a podcast. He's doing this. He's doing that. His output is insane. That man is working.
Well, he's just documenting what he does, and he's just always talking his shit. And whether he's walking in the street or on a podcast, or he's doing his own podcast, I forget what it's called, the Friday joint that he does with Tieta. There's just a lot of moments to capture, and they do it. They do a really good job at it for sure. So I'm gonna stick with LaRussell, but it's something that he did that I didn't agree with. I think LaRussell thinks I'm kind of a hater, and that's fine. But I want to talk about this because, and probably a little bit more sensitive to it because I've been a victim of this. But there was somebody that left a hater comment under one of his posts. The person says, with no hit record that the Bay knows or gravitates to, he's able to do this while artists like D-Lo and Stunna Man, who have generational hit songs, don't. Seem like a label move to create headlines and clout, because I've only met children who are actual fans of the actual music. Adults I meet just like the community work, but they never say they actually slap his music. But hey, that's really something else when you think about the fact that you really don't hear his music at functions, radio clubs, in traffic, or the after hours. So LaRusell screenshot this comment and made a post. And LaRusell, it's kind of long, but let me try to get through it. LaRusell responds on a separate. This was anyway. I'll just say what he says, and I'll give my take on it. LaRusell screenshots it, makes a separate post highlighting this post, and says, I've been trying my best not to highlight hating ass losers, but this one made me laugh. Bro created a whole novel in the Thizzler comments about my career. Then you click his page and it says black owned. Rich City Studios, you are exactly where you are in life because of this. God won't let you excel. So now you're 50 and have to knock another black kid's greatness because you never achieved anything great. It's okay. For the rest of my career, you'll have to continue to witness greatness and write lore about how I did it. You, sir, are the weakest link. People like him are solely responsible for why we've struggled to progress as a region throughout history. It's always someone like him lurking in the sewers, muddying up the waters. Be better, brother. For yourself, your family, and your children, they deserve to see a black man supporting another black man thriving. What I did wasn't magic, it was destined. Payne, you said you agree with LaRusell when I sent this to the chat. You know, you feel free to weigh in first.
I mean, if someone left that type of comment on my content, which they do all the time, it is a hating ass comment, and especially when it's inaccurate, especially when you say something like, I only hear kids bumping his music. What's the problem with that? That's a good thing. So it's a hating ass comment. I could see if someone said, I had a negative experience with this guy. I had this, I had that. The negative comments I get to are never founded in evidence-based reality. It's always, I don't like how Payne's vibe is. Bitch, you've never met me. Payne doesn't have any hit songs. Yes, the fuck I do. You don't. Payne's not succeeding. Payne's lying to the people. Okay, then expose me for lying, but you won't. So it's that kind of similar thing, the concept. Now, what I said was I agree with LaRussell's in the right here, and I'm saying this from experience, and I'm probably not going to stop doing it because I think it is kind of funny, and sometimes it's demonstrative or didactic, as they say, posting this kind of stuff, and it can galvanize your fan base too. But what I will say is it's a risky move. I don't necessarily agree with LaRussell, because he is winning. You can't deny. He's posting evidence of the wins that these back to back. So he sold out both. He sold out the first iteration of the event, and then he came up with a second one because the first one sold out, and I guess he sold that one out too. I have no reason not to believe that. So he is winning. He is knee deep. He is waist high in blessings right now. So he doesn't need to post stuff like this. But I understand. It's within his right to do so. Absolutely.
I would just caution artists, and I know why this triggered him. The music stuff triggered him, but he didn't build his community on like amazing music, because if that was the case, then like the music would be more widespread. Like he built his community via his voice, and
which is more impressive,
community.
honestly, because a lot of people have these hits.
To me, it doesn't. But I feel like that's probably what got under his. That probably what got under his skin a bit, right? But I would just remind artists, especially when you start getting some traction. Like, to me, weaponizing your fan base is a whack move most of the time. Like, yes, this cat is a hater for sure. Like, and if you want to DM him and have a conversation, or even if you just want to reply to the comment, and let him know how you feel. But to screenshot it, make it a separate post, give it way more visibility. Again, I know he threw the first stone. I get it. I know he threw the first stone. But if you are about the black community, the response should be different, right? Because this could have a
Come on,
very real
Dave.
impact on this man's business, and you wield a much bigger axe than the stone that he threw initially, right? That's all I'm saying. I just want to remind people you have a lot of influence once you have a lot of followers, and you have to be careful how you use that. You're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to get a lot of flack for people who are going to talk shit. And, I would just encourage people to be above it, because when you hit back, you're going to hit back way hard. And maybe you feel like they deserve it. But just take a second to think about that, because weaponizing your fan base, to me, often is a whack move, in my opinion.
I super agree with that. And I am not in LaRussell's position. I'm not even in Payne's position as far as follower count and the amount of stuff that comes. I have been doxxed before. I had to deal with that a couple years ago, which was like really tough, because I had a group of artists use their fan base, weaponize their fan base against me. But it was like, I had to realize it was so minuscule because they were doxing me via DMs and commenting on my page. But like, people didn't notice, because by and large, I mean, some people notice my comments. They're like, what is going on? But they had no idea what was going on because they're just not involved in that world. So it didn't affect my career or anything at all. So it took me a second to be okay with it. It only lasted about a month, but still, every day for a month, getting crazy DMs and comments is tough. So that aside, I'm saying, like, I've had a little bit of experience. I have a video that's kind of blowing up on my friend's TikTok right now where people eating me alive, but I don't have what y'all have, especially not what LaRussell has with haters. I get that sometimes, again, you got to blow off steam. I don't necessarily agree with it, but everybody's personality is different. And I may get to the point that one day I may just blow it up. But I know that I'm from Atlanta, and I can talk about you in a way that won't be mean, but it'll make you feel terrible. And I can just go in. I've made grown men cry, like literally recently, because we were playing spades and he wanted to come for me and I kept it clean. I didn't come for him. He ended up getting off the table. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
You made a grown man cry playing spades?
Yeah, and I just kept it to the game. That's the crazy thing. I don't even I'm not a mean-spirited person. I don't want to talk. I don't know about you. I'm not trying to demean you. But if you want to come for me, I'm from the south side of Atlanta. We make fun of people for fun.
You should not be playing that damn game if you are that sensitive, because it is a frustrating fucking game.
And literally, that's what made him cry. I said, when he kept talking to me, I was like, bro, you're kind of sensitive. We're just playing cards. And then he gets up. He starts flipping cards. He's talking to my cousin.
Like a movie.
Yelling. Yeah, and then his voice starts to quiver. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't want to make you cry. I'm just trying to play spades. And then it was over after that. Yeah. The game was
he had
done.
Something else going on.
He stormed outside, but like, I'm like, bro is literally crying because his voice started quivering. That's why he had to go outside. But anyways, all I'm saying is, like, for me, I can make a sport out of any of this. So I have to keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine what LaRussell is going through, but I very much mirror what you're saying, Dame. As a black man in this community, as a pillar in the community, and I'm not saying everybody got a moment of weakness. I'm not trying to hold him to an unrealistic standard, but the level of degradation that he went through he exhausted a lot of energy to say negative things about this man's business. And it's like, he's not only a black man, but he's a black business owner. And LaRussell has talked about how he's had to fight tooth and nail for his business. And I just think, like, I almost wanted to go click on bro's page, but I didn't want to add any extra views to like going to see what he looked like or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, people are going to go click and laugh, or they're going to go click and spam, or they're going to click, he may get doxxed. Like, you really are weaponizing a community of people who are probably not as emotionally intelligent and as worldly as you are, like haven't been outside nearly as much. For LaRussell, this is a fleeting moment where he got pissed off because, again, he's doing a labor of love for the community. It doesn't matter that he made $100,000 in a day. He's had to put in more work than that $100,000 cost him. And that's the thing. It's like people don't understand the price of fame, the price of sacrifice, the price of building. Like, what I make now, what I'll make ever in my life won't compare or compete with the amount of work, effort, energy, and love that I've put into whatever I've done. Like he says, I'm priceless. So I get how this could piss him off. I just think he's got to do better with stewarding his influence, especially considering that bro said, I've only seen kids like his music. All kids are coming up behind you. Gen Alpha, Gen Z is in desperate need of great people to follow and to emulate. You know, like I don't think anybody has to be a role model or a hero, but like highly impressionable youth are on the internet, living on the internet, never outside, and they need to see somebody stand up and do it the right way. And I'm not even saying that he has to not address it. I just think he could have done it differently to make a different impact. But bro has a lot on his plate. He's got a lot on his shoulders. I'm not faulting him. I can't hold him to a different standard. I'm not in a personal relationship with him, but I do agree with Dame. It's like there's a weight to what, like, there's a weight to your leadership. There's a weight to your influence. There's a weight to your calling. And it is destiny. So if it's destiny, man, like, steward that better if you could. Like, be thoughtful. Yeah. And I feel like he may or may not have people around him being like, chill. It may be just more people hyping him up. And I think the thing that's kind of kept me cool are people like Dame and my best friends being like, Erinn, shut the hell up. Like, when I've been on the internet, like, upset about something. And I think now it's a reflex for me not to respond now that my platform has grown even just a little bit. But I think as it gets bigger, I feel like I'm not going to be as interested in engaging with people who are just ejectors, because it's just adding to the noise and it's more fuel. I think that this is a good thing ultimately. Bro is really paying attention to him. Like, he's hating. That's that alternate energy that everybody needs.
Yeah. But also, okay, you know, just don't be the guy at the space table, regardless of what the reaction is. I think that's something that we often don't talk about, because we are putting extra weight on somebody who is an artist who's already probably on their last nerve just based on the positive work, because it's draining, it's exhausting to work at that level. And so on top of it, we have to start saying, you know what? Humans are flawed, but we want you to be superhuman. We want you to repress your own human instincts to defend yourself when you are on your last nerve. It'll be midnight and you still have work to do and you just want to sleep. And here comes this motherfucker. What is he even talking about? And it's very rare. I never hear people place the burden on the people starting shit. I agree with everything Erinn said. I agree with everything Dame said. This is just yes and to what they said, because there is that complete lack of accountability. And we'll say, oh, these people don't know what they're saying. Maybe they don't. But if someone is driving down the street and they don't know how to drive and they make a left turn on red and their car gets smashed up and their leg gets broken, that's still a consequence that comes with their ignorance. And so if this guy, typing and posting is a multi-step process, he couldn't just hate in his own space. He couldn't hate in the confines of his own four walls. He had to type out a response, and he had to get to that point. He had to go through the whole mental process to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm getting on his ass. No second guessing, no filtration, or maybe there was, but it didn't work. And so then he went and typed, and then he had a chance to read it over for spelling errors and for clarity. And then he still had to press that post button, and he could have deleted the shit within an hour of posting it. If LaRussell had never seen it, there still could have been severe and dire consequences for his business and for his standing in his community. That's what I'm saying. It's so yes, LaRussell amplified and signal boosted that post by sharing it and adding his own insight and his own perspective to it. However, there are people who go out and say dumb shit all the time about public figures. The public figures never see it, and there's still a backlash, and it still hurts them. So you got to stop fucking doing that shit as a grown ass adult. The other thing is, and I've seen this because I just made a video about this, Metro Boom and Futuristic Summer. I didn't know there was this whole hate campaign against Metro. A bunch of people don't like the album. A lot of people. Joe Budden hates the album.
I'm in the streets of Atlanta. It's going up everywhere.
Yeah,
art shows.
Y'all gotta
kids parties.
Look. I know. All of us talk for a long time sometimes, but sometimes I'll be wanting to respond to something, but you guys have already like talk and change topics to change like 3 or 4 topics. I'm like,
go ahead, Dave. I'm muting myself.
But I just wanted to push back a little bit on the superhuman strength you think it requires to be that person. Like it doesn't require a superhuman ability. It just requires a little bit of maturity and growth. Like read a few books, meditate. It doesn't.
Dave. Dave, if you already are giving all of your energy to building, so I'm with you because I've had to mature to a place where I had to let shit go. But again, building a business at its highest level, but also being a public figure at its highest level, because it's not like he's just a celebrity. He's a social media influencer and celebrity content creator, right? So he's the most exposed in real life, but also building businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses at the highest level. And then for somebody just out of nowhere who's benefiting from what he's building to come with a little shot, I get it. Because when people say shit to me, I'm like, bitch, do you know how much work I'm putting in to change the world? And I'm on a way smaller scale than him. I do think it takes superhuman strength.
I would encourage all of you guys to meditate. Like it ain't like that's what people do on the internet. They talk shit. They're frustrated with where they're at in their life, and they want to tear other people down. You have to know that is what it is. There have been many times that, and most of the times I just let it ride, but sometimes I will go back and forth and just ask questions. And sometimes it's in the DM, and I'm always, if I have the time and the person has a genuine interest in understanding my perspective, I'll hop on a Zoom call and I'm not tripping, but I would never think about like highlighting what they did, repost it and give it like, amplify it. Cause LaRusell, I think, has like 2 million followers now. So I get, don't get me wrong. Like I get that people are crazy. They say stupid stuff. Like, and I agree, they need to stop doing that. But I will just disagree that it takes some kind of superhuman strength to understand that and respond a little bit more mature, or don't respond at all. Just let it ride. Like you're going to get, that comes with the territory.
Well, especially to an artist. An artist are naturally sensitive, and to an artist who is DIY because they see
I think he's avoiding a lot of stuff. This just hit him at the right time because there's people saying shit all day, every day about bro. That's what I'm saying. I got a little compassion for him because millions of people are watching him that are not even following him, and there are people talking shit about him, doing think pieces, being on they. You know what I'm saying? I get you, Dame. I'm with you, but as somebody who I grew up a little bit before the internet, but like as somebody who spent majority of my life on the internet, sometimes you don't want to be the bigger person. You're just like, yo, catch me outside. I'm not a fighter, so I wouldn't say catch me outside, but I definitely got goons. If you piss me off, I'll be like, meet me on the south side. I got people to handle you.
There's a lot of people talking about that's what most people do, is just talk shit. People are miserable, especially in this day and age and this economy in this fucked up country. Like people are miserable. So I get it. But the last thing I will say on this is, like, I know that sometimes, and I'm separating this from LaRusell because maybe this was not his intention. So this is separate from LaRusell. This is just talking in general about addressing comments like this. Because I know Hop would be the type of person that would do some dumb shit like this, and I think it made him feel good when his fans rallied around that kind of energy. Like it made him feel really good. And I think for some other artists, or when people do this, they get validated by their fan base, and it gives them a rush, makes them feel good. I would also let you know that there are other people watching that post that feel totally different about how you handled that. And that might not be a fan, but that might be a potential business partner, a potential investor, because there may be other people that will look at that may want to help you progress, but then they're like, that's how they handle situations like that. I don't really want to be a part of drama. So you might have gotten 10,000 likes, but you might have turned off 2 investors. So think about that as well.
Well, that's why I brought up Metro Boomin, because the response to the album was that I think people love using the internet to talk, and they hate when the internet talks back. And that's not a fault of, like, especially with public figures. Metro got all these bad reviews, and then he started posting those tweets where it was like, if you've never worn the Sperry's with the polo or whatever, if you never kept the tags on your shirts to make them appear new, this album's not for you. And it was a response to the criticism, and I don't think it was him. I don't know. It didn't feel like a disrespectful response. It was just like, I'm having fun.
He was just like, y'all was not outside.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
And people were really upset. They're like, why is he insulting his fans? And it's just like, you can't fucking win. And so I'll wrap up my thoughts on this by just saying, you can't win. As the artist, you will always be the bad guy in the situation, no matter how you respond. No matter how you respond.
I don't disagree. Please explain yourself. I don't want to cut you off.
In the context,
please explain yourself.
In the context, I don't mean it. Okay, you're right. That was terribly worded. You just cannot win in the sense that when you respond to anything, there won't be people who had a problem with you even responding. Just as we're doing right now, even the people that are with you, of that contingent of fans, many of them will still say, I'm with you, but you shouldn't have done that. So, and that doesn't apply to other people. You're in a different category of person.
So you don't think, like, if he had the time to do it and wanted to do it, like, and the other person was open to it, like reaching out and be like, man, look, man, I saw that post you made on my page. I received it disrespectfully, and I just want to understand however he wants to approach it, and maybe put him on a Zoom and have him. If not saying he should do this, but I'm saying there are ways to go about it that, yeah, there might be 2 or 3 people that were like, oh, that's some sucker shit. But it would be way more than like, because right now I think looking at that post, maybe it's like 80% are with you guys and like 20% look at it like me, right? Maybe it's 80-20. But if you handle it differently, maybe you can get it to 95-5 is all I'm saying.
I can't imagine a situation. I think if you're at that point where you're doing cost benefit analysis, just ignore it.
I agree. I'm not giving nobody who disrespects me my time. Not no Zoom call, not no voice note, not no extra space. If you disrespected me and I took it as disrespect, you're not getting none of my time. I'd rather just ignore it. I'm either flaming you or we're ignoring it. You're not getting my time. Time does not come back. That's the only source that's not renewable. You're not getting my time.
All right. We can get to Payne's topic so we can get up out of here. Let's do it.
All right, so my topic, you already know what my topic is. Let me share the video because this is wild. And this is just, this is an AI influencer. But as more AI platforms emerge, more generative AI platforms emerge and compete for market share in the generative music AI space, we're going to see a lot more of this exact thing. So I'm just going to play it, and you'll know exactly why I chose this topic if you're watching.
You can now steal a song legally because this tool lets you clone any song's vibe without copyright risk. All you have to do is upload your favorite track or drop a YouTube link, click create, boom. It generates a custom instrumental in the exact same style. Want to go even harder? Drop in your own lyrics, upload a reference style, then click create, and bam.
Those lyrics were trash, whatever he was typing.
Your own song in seconds, copyright free. Find it here by looking.
Okay, so then there's the whole funnel associated with it, because that's just I watched a bunch of his videos. This is his style of video. I think he is making a killing off of either influencer marketing or some kind of commission based system for these AI companies specifically. Initial thoughts?
You can now steal legally.
Was God's game supposed to be God's plan? Is that like a rip? That's what it kind of sounded like. God's playing a little flute rip, but I couldn't tell.
So I had a meeting with Suno yesterday, and they were giving me a demo of their platform. It's the wild, wild west right now. You know, laws don't move as fast as technology. And to me, the only way to protect yourself against all of this is community building and brand building. Because stuff is getting better. Like, you know, he just clicked a few buttons yesterday and made a beat that is better than some of the stuff I've heard on BeatStars. And, you know, the legal protection is not keeping up with the technology. So I think it sucks. I think that dude sounds like a scumbag. Like, even to say, I know it's a hook in the beginning of a video to kind of get you to watch it longer. Right now you can steal legally. But that's just a wild thing to say. Like what? What? So if you're stealing anything, I mean, people are just comfortable stealing content. I shared another video with Ja the other day, and it was just a guy on a podcast, of course, you know, basically sharing how he steals people's content and makes millions of dollars from it. Just on a podcast.
Like podcast content, or like what?
No, like clips, like, you know, maybe Jaws content, like just getting stuff, finding stuff to go viral and monetizing it.
Probably on Facebook too. Meta made that so easy, where now, you know how like people, you used to go on Facebook and everyone's a friend. Now everyone's a content creator because they monetize their platform. And I'm seeing wild stuff. People I grew up with, oh, look at this, look how they did this, man. I'm like, you don't know him. You just took that from, and it's always linking comments, because that's that's the format that boosts and maximizes engagement. Yeah, these people could be making more off of that. Regular ass people who don't know marketing, more off that than their day jobs.
Just like Erin's boy, David Shands.
I think he backtracked on that, because I feel like didn't he end up taking that post down, and he stopped responding to comments, because it was like even his peers were like, bro, chill. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he was like, well, I don't mind it because they still mine, and it pushes me out. And a couple of his friends outside of us were even like, do you hear what you're saying? I'm not sure, but I feel like because he stopped responding to comments, I'm pretty sure he pulled that post down, because I went back to look for it and I didn't see it. I might have missed it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he's just like ignorant sometimes. And then I think because he is a businessman and like content is his thing, but like he has businesses that are thriving, and that's like more of his secondary and tertiary. I know he's trying to make it primary now. I think he was just kind of more on the happy-go-lucky. He's not looking out for other creators and thinking about it that way. So I feel like it was just kind of like a dumb, like, wow, let's just steal and I'll win. It's like, bro, what?
But I would say, you know, that we live in a very ignorant country where probably most people are ignorant. Like, so they'll fall into this. There's probably the cat that was on the podcast and I'm talking about probably has a course about how to steal, like, and then you have this video that Payne just played, steal legally. Like, that doesn't even make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
It does, because this country is.
Yeah, you're okay. No, I see what you and AI has been just, Suno, the people that you met with have been stealing legally. It's illegal. It's been ruled as illegal, but it's still gray area, so they're allowed to do it. If you have the money, you
and
can
they just
steal.
have to kick back and pay. So they're paying a fine for what they stole, but they don't have to scrub all the IP and destroy it. So it's like, is this really them being paid a fine, or is this how the government gets their fee, but they try to make it look like they're fining them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, sorry, continue, Dan. I got some legal stuff to talk about that.
No, I think it sucks, but AI music, it's here to stay. I just hope that like I said, the legal catches up with the tech, and but I would encourage artists to embrace it and figure out how to use it to your advantage. But it's really going to come down to community building, brand building, storytelling. That's hopefully how you're going to win. That's been how people have been winning, like LaRussell, obviously. And it will continue to be how people win.
Well, should people understand the implications of the technology they're using, though?
I don't think it's always going to be too late, because they're never going to really reveal to us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the more I get into this data game, the more I'm like, I don't want to post on the internet, because it's like, it's wild. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you start to look at Tesla more as a data company than a motor vehicle company, right? You're like, oh, when you're looking at Waymo is a data company. It's not their primary focus isn't transportation. Do you know what I'm saying? When you start to look at Meta and the reason that they're acquiring so many things and the whole TikTok battle, and it's all a data game, and it has to do with our government and what's being approved and all the IP that they're scrubbing to feed the algorithm to, you know what I'm saying? You start to really look at stuff like, I'm even saying for myself, like, what am I opting into? Like, truly, right? So like, I think, yes, people should know what they're opting into, but I don't think we'll ever understand it to the depth and the degree that they're doing it to us until it's way too late.
Well, sometimes it's right there in front of us, and that's what I want to talk about here. So, just to review, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but in that advertisement we just saw, they are claiming that service can steal, and they use the word steal music. Now, that's already a sign they're not operating with ethics, but they're also not telling you the truth. So I'm just going to say I am sniffing this out as a deceptive ad. And a lot of AI dick writers are going to ride that dick right into hell because of things like this, because they don't pay attention. So let me just show you. So the platform is called Mereka, and I've covered this before because of this problem, this very problem. So I thought, okay, well, maybe they've changed it now. They had a chance to change it. Let's see if they've rectified any of that. And the truth is no. So here are the terms of service. I went on to their website to see what the terms of service of their app are. And under the intellectual property rights stipulation, chapter, whatever, right here it says, Mereka hereby grants you a revocable, non-exclusive, non-transferable, non-sublicensable worldwide right and license to access and use the service solely for your personal non-commercial use and solely in strict compliance with the provisions of this agreement. Let's look at the other provisions. But first, we have to understand what this means. This means you do not steal a Drake beat. You do not steal a Kendrick beat, whatever, and then drop a song to it and put it on the platforms. You can't do that. According to what it says here, that's because they're covering their own asses here, because they know damn well I can't speak with certainty. They may be doing this to cover their asses so that they are exempt or protected from this theft that they are promoting in some of these ads, or that third parties are promoting in some of these ads. Even more so, again, tell me in the ad, what were they encouraging users to do? What did they say? Even in the example in that video, what
He had
did
an
they?
Ed Sheeran picture up there.
But they showed a guy taking a YouTube link to an existing song that he didn't own, and he was encouraging. He said, take any song, drop it into Mareka, and it'll create a brand new beat for you. He said that, and then he said, you can use this beat, whatever. They said a lot of stuff. So when you go into their end user license agreement, under user content, it says, other content or materials you upload or post, you represent and warrant that you own all right, title, and interest in and to such user content, including without limitation, all copyrights. However, in that video, what they were saying is you can steal other people's stuff legally. And then you look at the legal language and it says, actually, no, you can't steal other stuff because that's illegal. So what's really going on
I feel
here?
like they just do that to protect themselves, though. They know to get people on the platform, they got to just like say, hey, come on over here. You can do whatever you want. And I do believe that most of these platforms come under like, oh, this is just for play. This is just for fun, right? You know, like how social media originally started. Oh, just post all your stuff, do whatever. They're not telling us they're scrubbing all of our data. They're utilizing all of our face to create images. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh, this is fun. Share pictures with your friends. So I feel like in that sense, bro is doing exactly what he needs to do to get users on the platform. That's why they paid him. They're looking in the opposite direction. Like, no. Clearly on our website, it says this. And then he gets to come back and say, well, I didn't say they could release it and make money off of it. I'm just saying, if you want to scrub an Ed Sheeran song and have your own lookalike and have a similar one to play by yourself, we're all good to go. I think they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah,
They are.
like
They
I
are.
said, it's
Are
it's the
you
wild,
rocking with
wild
that
west
shit
right
though?
now.
It's the wild wild west. If you have, I think when people think of the wild wild west, they look at an even playing field where, like, hey, as long as you're out there and you're willing to ride a horse and strap a revolver to your waist, you can go out and get it. That's not the case. It's the wild wild west corporatized, and with lawyers struggling to catch up, and the person with the money is all that matters. You can have as many horses and carriages and guns as you want. But I guess in the sense that in the Wild Wild West, there was a lot of colonization going on and genocide and all that. It's figurative genocide and colonization of intellectual property and small creators. So yeah, in that regard, yeah, it's a great analogy. But I think if you are one of these people that watches one of these ads and is like, oh, let me just take someone's beats, I'm good. Like, the ad says I can steal legally, and then you don't look at the actual end user license agreement, or you do look at it and you're like, well, whatever, I'm still going to do it. You're setting yourself up to potentially fail. Also, especially when you consider one of the most controversial lawsuits of our lifetime was Robin Thicke versus Marvin Gaye. And what they concluded in that lawsuit was that in spite of there not being any sort of direct traditional copyright infringement, the influence and the feel was enough to warrant $7.4 million in damages. And it was verbatim the groove and the feel that infringed on the copyright of Marvin Gaye's estate. And that was enough to convince the courts. So what is this advertisement telling you to do? Steal the whole vibe. We'll create something similar, but it's copyright free. They said that. They said copyright free. They did. So they laid everything out, and then you read their agreement. No, it's not even copyright free because the platform still is retaining the copyrights to the shit that you make on their platform because they are restricting your usage. They're saying you can't use this commercially. So how the fuck is it yours and it's copyright free when someone else is telling you what you can and cannot do with it? People have to smarten up, but people will look at this and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. All right, cool. Hey, nothing matters then. Who cares, right?
Who cares? That's how I feel like they do it.
Yep. All right. I think we covered a lot in this episode. We can wrap it up, Payne.
Yeah, let's wrap it up because it's about to be a wrap with some stupid shit like this. Everything we talked about today. Wow. We need to pick happier closer topics. I think there should just be a file that we have, like a separate spreadsheet where it's just human interest pieces. Let's talk about, I saw a video of a producer making a beat with his cat. Why don't we end with that? That was positive and uplifting. I enjoyed that. Hey, this is positive. 3 free months of free music distribution. Get your music on the platforms. Well, you still can before one of these tech bros snatches your shit. 2lost.com. Use the code MEC and get your 3 free months to upload unlimited music to all the platforms. We appreciate you tuning in. We will be back next time with really happy fluff pieces about, Cardi B's new single doing well, and I don't know, other positive things happen. Taylor Swift got engaged. That's amazing, right?
We'll bring some
Wrong audience.
We'll bring some positive topics next week.
Yeah. All right. Peace, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
You tried it, Dame. You tried.
Yeah.